Good morning, my name is Carola Mejía and I will speak on behalf of Latindadd, the civil society group on financing for development and the Women's Working Group on financing for development. The energy transition to low-carbon economies must be fair. It must create new jobs and should not deepen extractivism in South countries, which have historically suffered and continue to suffer negative impacts from this system, perpetuated under the promise of growth and which has not generated real development. This transition must take place quickly, but it must be progressive in South countries that highly rely on fossil fuels and don't have enough fiscal space to fight climate change on their own. Therefore, financial support of more developed countries will be required, recognizing the climate debt they owe to humanity. However, we emphatically criticize that most of this international climate finance is delivered through loans, since this only accumulates debt and injustice in countries that already have to deal with high levels of indebtedness and that will never have a real opportunity to move towards sustainable development if the current financial architecture is not reformed. Climate finance should not create more debt. It should not have conditions, and the Global South should not be paying for the North's climate debt. We demand developed countries urgently deliver new and additional non-debt creating climate finance beyond the unfulfilled current $100 billion pledge, considering real needs, mainly in South countries that, being less responsible for the climate crisis, are the most vulnerable to its impacts. We also call for adaptation funding to be doubled and for the creation of a new facility to channel non-reimbursable additional funding to cover losses and damages resulting from extreme climate events. Multilateral development banks should also provide more grants instead of using mainly loans as climate finance in the South. And the financial system should stop funding fossil fuels. We also call to improve access and effectiveness of international climate funds. We are concerned that the commitments assumed by our countries are highly insufficient to achieve the Paris Agreement goals, and that less progress is being made for its implementation. More ambition and climate action are urgently needed. We are also concerned that market-based mechanisms are being promoted as a solution to the current climate crisis, when we perfectly know that capitalism is one of its main causes, because it prioritizes the generation of wealth at any cost, also increasing inequality in the world. We are also afraid that the net zero scenario could represent the perfect opportunity for largest polluters to choose offsetting instead of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, which will be the only real solution to save the planet. Today, we represent the voice of millions of people, including women, indigenous communities, poor families, rural producers, children, youth, the elderly, and climate migrants, mainly from the Global South, who are daily receiving the worst impacts of the climate crisis, which threatens life, health, food and water security, as well as the future of humanity and thousands of species. These multilateral spaces are very important to act together against climate change and to defend people's rights. But if deep and urgent transformations are not achieved to guarantee a sustainable and just transition, multilateralism will gradually lose its credibility and will be too late, considering we only have 8 years to address the climate crisis in a timely manner. Don't let that happen. Let's act now, according to the challenges the climate emergency and the multiple crises represent. Thank you very much.